All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this May 26th Special Commission meeting to order. Time is approximately 7 p.m. This is our rescheduled meeting from the holiday that normally would have been our meeting from yesterday. So our first item of business is the approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Motion. Second.
Commissioner Mazon and a second on Commissioner Farnsworth. Is there any discussion on the motion from the dais? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimous. Please rise. We're going to welcome Pastor Ralph Williams from the Newberry Church of the Nazarene to give our invocation tonight. And please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance immediately following. Pastor Williams.
Thank you. May we pray. Father, we thank you this evening, rather. We thank you for a weekend of being able to pause and reflect on those who have given their lives for our country, for us to be free to have this moment this evening. We thank you for a day after when we realize also that life goes on and you are the author of all good things. We pray that as we meet tonight that you would give us clear minds. We pray that you would give us courage and fortitude to do the right things. And we pray that you would give us comfort in doing those things that are difficult but sometimes have no answer. I pray that you would give every one of us wisdom. I pray that you would give us charity. And I pray above all you would bless us with your presence. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
For all.
Hoorah. Perfect.
Thank you, Pastor. You're a wise man, sir. Okay, first we've got two presentations, 15-minute limits. First one's going to be the school zone speed cameras, and City Manager Marlowe, you have this item agenda, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
See if this IT is working again today. There we go, just right. All right, Commissioner, so as you guys have seen in the news recently, ASO is launching a county-wide effort. Many of you have brought your concerns about the safety inside of our school zones to us over the past 6 months to a year. So we did our own internal study, and we're going to give you the results of that study tonight, and then we're going to ask you for some feedback and direction. So all we're looking at tonight is, do you hear enough out of this conversation to warrant another conversation? If the answer to that is yes, we're going to bring ASO in. We're going to have more details, more information, all that kind of stuff for you. So the company that ASO has, oh, there it's coming. Nope. I don't know. Can we get that on over there? Company that ASO is using is called Ultimate, right? It's AI powered. I think one of the driving themes of this is that if this commission deems this to be worthy, ASO takes it from there. It doesn't cost the citizens of Newberry anything. They run the show. They take care of it. All they need from us is a resolution, right? So it's traffic enforcement, vehicle recognition. We've got 3 school zones in the city of Newberry, one on Southwest 15th, one on 27, and one on 26. And so those were the ones that Almont put cameras on for 2 days. That those days were randomly chosen, right, for your regular amounts of traffic. The findings were fairly stark, February 18th and 19th. So what we got here for you is on Southwest 15th Avenue, West Newberry Road, and 250th, that's State Road 45, 27. So I'm going to start over there on 27. Traffic volume during those days was around 5,000. Between both days, that would be 10. You had about 1,100 violations. On Newberry Road, the speed zone there is 15 miles an hour, not 20. There's about 16,000 daily trips through that speed zone. We're just looking at the time when the flashing light is blinking, right? And you had more than half, right? So 50% of the folks are speeding through Southwest 26. I don't do that math. 20 to 30% are speeding through 27, right? People are pretty good on Southwest 15th Avenue. There were a few, but the commission did just put in a long turn lane there, upgraded that road. So I believe Altmont, I can't remember that guy's name, said this was some of the highest percentages of speeding in school zones that he had witnessed, and this is what they do all over the state. So basically what happens is all these programs are, and I should be clear, the cameras don't trip until you're more than 5 miles over. So if the speed limit is 15, it doesn't register you as speeding until you're going 20 or more. If the speed limit is 20, it doesn't register you as speeding until you're going 25 or over that. So it gives you a 5 mile an hour grace before you're even registering on this trip count.
Mr. Manager,
Yes, sir.
were these findings based on that?
Yes.
5 mile an hour?
Correct. So as you guys know, everybody's under budgetary constraints. We cannot afford to put as many police officers on as many corners as we'd like. ASO can't afford it, right? So what we are moving towards is, how do we use cameras? How do we use AI to keep our costs down, but keep our kids safe? So there's all kinds of studies out there that show the reduction in speeding, and that's really how I'd like you guys to view this. If this is something the commission wants to do, don't think of it as a revenue stream. Our goal here is to get people to go the speed limit, not to send out a lot of tickets, right? Because Newberry doesn't get much of the money anyway. So we want people to just follow along. We want them to be safe. But there's all kinds of data out there now that says once you advertise that there are speed tickets up, people will start obeying the law. I don't know if any of you saw the ASO post a week or so ago. They've been piloting this program in a couple of the communities, and it's taking a while for the information to percolate through the community, right? But I believe everybody will get the hint after one ticket, two, right? Those kind of things. It's a $100 ticket, I believe. So the question here is, I should also want to say, this does not operate all day long. It's only operating when the school zone is flashing. This does not register any other violation. So if somebody passes on the right, which I've seen twice, I've seen kids trying to cross the street, people sitting in traffic decide that they can't wait, and so they go to pass on the right. They didn't see that there was a child, which is why the traffic was stopped, and 2 near hits. This doesn't help that, right? This is only speeding, only when the light's flashing. It's not the rest of the day. It's not 24 hours a day, so it's only when the school zone is going. So the question here tonight is this something the commission would like us to bring back to you with ASO standing side by side? Again, all that ASO needs, they'll give you a presentation, they'll give you more detail. All that ASO needs is a resolution allowing them to operate this system in the city of Newberry. They take over the installation, they run it, they handle the tickets. None of that is on the city of Newberry.
Mr. Manager, how does the ticketing work if you have somebody else is not driving or somebody else driving the vehicle who's not the owner of the vehicle? Do you know by chance?
As facial recognition as well as vehicle recognition, so they can put those two things together.
So there's already a bank of all of our faces somewhere that it's comparing to.
Somewhere, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like the toll booth. Like the book 1984.
Okay, what questions does the dais have?
I have one. So you said it only triggers whenever it's flashing. What about holidays when it's flashing and there's no school?
Well, when that happens, that's an accident. Someone downtown forgot to turn it off. So we generally notify. Gainesville runs most of the stoplights, flashing lights. They have the system, right? So we generally, most of the municipalities in the county contract with them. So when that happens, there's been a mistake somewhere, but it's happening less frequently or less often.
I'm on board.
I got you.
think it's a great idea.
Mr. Farnsworth,
I'm for it.
Commissioner Coleman.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all we're going to do then is we're going to get back on a future calendar when the sheriff can be here or his designee.
Okay.
We'll get more information to you, and then we'll have a draft ordinance for you to look at.
Now, with the money that they collect from Newberry from all these tickets, do we get a discount when it comes to renegotiating that contract with ASO?
We'll talk about it. Yeah, yeah. I believe it's a $100 ticket. I think Newberry gets about 50 cents, somewhere in there. Might be 75.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, and the next item is a proclamation for Historic Preservation Month. Is there somebody receiving this, or? Ms. Lauren? Oh, okay. Do you need to speak before me? Or do you have anything you want to say?
No, just an introduction. I don't have a presentation.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay, well, we'll take a picture with you. I don't mind. Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for economic development and growth management and helps to foster local pride and maintenance of overall sense of place making. Whereas the National Trust for Historic Preservation celebrates the month of May as the Historic Preservation Month. And whereas historic preservation is relevant for all communities and residents of all ages, ethnic and cultural backgrounds, and all walks of life, and whereas it is important to acknowledge the roles history, architecture, and archaeology play in our lives and the contribution made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us in our city. Whereas historic preservation is supported within the city of Newberry by the Board of Commission and the Historic Preservation Board, as well as many other local businesses and neighborhoods. Whereas the city of Newberry will be celebrating Historic Preservation Month in May 2026, the theme for this year is, quote, "All people are created equal." Now, therefore, be it resolved that by the virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Newberry, do hereby declare the month of May 2026 as month of historic preservation in the city of Newberry and encourage citizens to identify, celebrate, and educate others and strive to preserve places that are important to them. Their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent, and witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and caused the great seal of the city of Newberry, Florida, to be affixed unto this 26th day of May 2026. All right, who's taking our picture? Lauren, come on down. Come in. We didn't tell you about this part?
You look gorgeous.
Do you need to run the?
I was sweating outside earlier with the.
Join the club. Join the club. We're following that. Three, two, one. Three, two, one. Three, two, one. I'll get better this day. Thank you. Please hold your applause till the end of the meeting. Okay, public announcements. Everyone has 2 minutes. Who wishes to speak, please just come up to the podium. Make sure you turn the microphone on at the base, and you'll have 2 minutes to announce anything you got going on in your club, your yard sale, your HOA. Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Several items on the standard items on the consent agenda. What is the pleasure of the commission?
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Coleman and a second from Commissioner Farnsworth. Since it is consent, there's no debate or discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimous. And I will note that Commissioner Long had a graduation ceremony to attend tonight, and Commissioner Clark is on vacation with his family. Item number 8, legislative second hearing for adoption of ordinance 2026-09, CPA 2404. And Madam Attorney, do you have something to read into the record as we get started?
I do, Mayor.
Fire away.
This is ordinance number 2026-09, petition number CPA 24-04, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the future land use map in the comprehensive plan by changing the future land use category from agriculture to residential low density 4 dwelling units per acre on approximately 160 acres, tax parcel number 02573-000-000, located at 25409 Southwest 30th Avenue in the city of Newberry, Florida, providing for exclusion from codification, correction and directions to the city manager, providing a severability clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing directions to the clerk and an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Hectus, you have the floor.
I am a little bit surprised. We didn't even get the suit this evening. He took that off real quick, I'm sure. Good evening.
What'd you say? You sweated through it?
Yeah. It was hot. It was hot. So good evening. This is the second reading of this ordinance. You all saw this 45 plus days ago. It went to the state. It is on its way back. And so the question this evening is, should the commission approve amending the future land use map from agriculture to low density for residential low density for the 4 dwelling units per acre on 02573-000-000, approximately 160 acres? If yes, you can approve the ordinance. If no, you can deny it. Here's the little history that we have gone through on this project. We reviewed it we found it consistent with the comprehensive plan and the land development code. March 2nd, the Planning and Zoning Board at their regular meeting, it was a unanimous 5-0 recommendation. March 23rd, City Commission regular meeting, 4-1 approve on first reading. And then here we are with the second reading coming from the state. There were no comments that we brought forward from the state. As you can see in your packet, I added all of those in there. There was nothing that was going to put a halt on anything happening. Just for the audience purposes, here's the items, the location of the parcels. One is showing it ag, the other is showing it with the future land use that they're requesting, which is the residential low density. And here's the questions again under consideration. We can come back to that when you vote on it. The applicant's representative is here and their presentation is right here. We did a rough go through on it, so it looks great.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Good evening, Craig Brazier with MV5. Good to see some of y'all again for the second time today. That was a nice event today, so I think everybody did a great job.
Thank you for contributing.
Yeah, no, we're excited. That's one to be proud of for sure, and we think this one is too. So yeah, as Stacy mentioned, since we last brought this in front of you, it has gone off to the state for review. We got a clean report back from the state. Something else that has happened is the companion rezoning application has also gone to the Planning and Zoning Board, which has a little bit more detail, a little bit more information. I know at some of the previous meetings, there were some public comments and questions about access regarding this piece. And, without visually showing it when we were talking about this application, the zoning application did have a little more detail that I think satisfied a lot of some of the questions and concerns about access directly from this piece to the south, which it will not. It will access through the previously approved Sandia Town Park plan developments, and that clearly shows that. And I think that along with some of where buffers and open space provided and some of the lower lying areas for stormwater, creating a natural buffer too, kind of satisfied a lot of questions and comments. This is the overall timeline that Stacy also kind of mentioned. So this started back a couple years ago. Ever since it began, we've been back and forth with city staff to make sure it was something that we could all take forward with recommendation of approval. And there were some other things going on with the city's wastewater treatment plant, all that kind of factored into this. And so this timeline's a little bit longer than most that we see, but we're finally here and ready to move forward. Here again, on this map, one of the more important details is you can see that it is inside the city's urban service area. So that green line, what's north there of that and east of the western part, this is where growth is planned. And it is there again positioned around the Sandia Town Park, which was positioned around the Champions Park. So all of this has really been a long-term plan, even back at the beginning of Mr. Davis's family donating land for that nation's park. So here again, so you can see there in the blue hatching, that is now includes Champions Park as well as the other Sandia Town Park projects. This is existing future land use. This is the low density, which is recommending or asking for your approval tonight. This is 4 units an acre per this land use, but it does, the companion rezoning that comes forward will further restrict that number of units to 500. And so that'd be part of the next application. So it's not going to max out the density allowed by this low density residential land use. Here's some specific comp plan policies that the application is consistent with, as well as staff recommendation of approval. And as we pointed out previously, Planning and Zone Board had unanimous approval, as well as last time it was here, it was voted for approval. It was sent off to the state, and it came back with a clean report. So now tonight, we ask that you approve the final reading of this ordinance. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you got.
Great, thank you. What's the pleasure of the commission?
Anybody have any questions?
I was going to, I don't know, I was just kind of on the train of thought of getting a motion on the floor, then we can discuss it, but whatever.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Coleman on the motion, Commissioner Mazon on the second. What is the questions that the board has of the applicant or staff, if any? Going once, going twice. Commissioner Farnsworth, get your mic. Make sure your microphone's over closer to you, bud.
Hello. When you say 4 units per acre, is that 4 houses per acre, or what are you talking about?
Yes, in this case, it would be a single-family detached residential lot because that's what's allowed by the land use. But there again, you'll see as the zoning comes forward, that 4 units an acre is going to be even further restricted by the maximum number of units allowed in the zoning because it is a PRD, planned residential development zoning. So it will have site-specific conditions that can and will further restrict those units. And that has, like I said, that has already been in front of the Planning and Zoning Board. So it's that same application coming forward.
Okay.
If my math is correct, it's 160 acres times 4 would have been 640.
Correct.
So 640 is the max allowable by the zoning, but they're going to be coming through with 400, right?
5.
said- oh,
5. Well, 5, and then that'll be the max, and it could ultimately, depending on final engineering, be less than that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what are the lot sizes you're talking about then?
It'll be a mix, I think.
I mean,
The minimum,
There's
so they can go up to,
acre, they're only doing 500.
yeah, they can go up to, I believe the minimum lot size we have committed to is 50-foot wide, 5,000 square foot lot. That's minimum. They can go up to as big as we want, though. And it is intended to be a mix of lot sizes.
Commissioner Mazon, you had a,
Oh, no, I'm
you're good? Okay. Any questions from the public of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimous, 3-0. All right, we got another legislative second reading on ordinance 26-7, CPA 26-9. Madam Attorney, you want to read this one into the record, Freddie Warmack?
Yes. Ordinance number 2026-07, petition number CPA 26-09, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the future land use map in the comprehensive plan by changing the future land use category from recreation to public facilities and land on a city-owned property identified as parcel number 01935-000-000, providing for exclusion from codification, correction, and directions to the city manager, providing a severability clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing directions to the clerk and an effective date.
Madam Hectus, you have the floor.
All right, good evening again. This is again a second reading for, basically, we're taking Freddie Warmack from the single-family residential that it currently has and turning it into our future land use of public facilities. Question, should the commission approve amending the future land use from recreation to public facilities and land on Freddie Warmack? This one was seen to be consistent with the comp plan and the land development code. Planning and zoning saw it at the March 2nd meeting with a unanimous 3-0 approval. And April 27th, you all saw it at your first reading, and it got a 5-0 approval. Here's the location of the property and what it's currently has a land use of and what it is going to, which is the public facilities. And again, that question is, do you want to change that land use from the recreation to the public facilities and land on Freddie Warmack Park?
Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion to get on the floor? Commissioner Maison and Commissioner Farnsworth on the second. Any questions of staff on this one from the dais? Seeing none. Any from the public? Seeing none, we'll back to the dais. Again, no questions, comments from the dais. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimous. Okay. Next one is ordinance 2608, CPA 2611. It is quasi-judicial. It is a second reading on ordinance 26-08. It's the companion to the motion that we just heard. When we enter quasi-judicial, this means the commission stops being a legislative body and will become a judicial board, which means that we have to follow certain standards or rules to adhere to different standards of decision-making. The primary rule we must follow concerns testimony, and the substantial and competent evidence standard must be met when the judicial board makes a decision. The standard states the following: all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into the evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. Madam Attorney, please read the ordinance resolution into the record.
Ordinance number 2026-08, petition number LDR 26-11, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the official zoning atlas in the land development regulations by changing the zoning district from residential single-family 1 to public facilities on a city-owned property identified as tax parcel number 01935-000-000, providing for exclusion from codification, correction, and directions to the city manager, providing a severability clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing directions to the clerk and an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. We've got a couple of quasi-judicials. If you're going to be participating as an applicant or otherwise, please stand now for any of the ones that are coming forward tonight. We'll get you all collectively sworn in, and at this time, I'll ask the clerk to do so.
Please raise your right hand and state your name.
Stacy Hectus.
Lauren Yetter. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we begin, can we please disclose ex parte communications on this property? Commissioner Coleman? Commissioner Farnsworth, Commissioner Maison? And myself, I also have none as well. At this time, we'll begin the presentations, and staff overview will be the first one. Madam Hectus, you have the floor.
Thank you. As Mayor said, this is the companion rezoning to the land use change that just occurred. Should the commission approve amending the zoning map from residential single-family RSF1 to the public facility zoning on the city-owned Freddie Warmack Park. The same path to here is what the land use had, so you can see we found it consistent, and March 2nd, the Planning and Zoning Board heard it, and you all saw it your first time on April 27th for the first reading. Here's the location. It's single-family residential. We're changing it from that zoning to public facilities.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hectus. We are the applicant as well as the staff on this one, and I will allow the public to speak at this time. Does anybody have public comment? You have 3 minutes to do so on this rezoning. Seeing none. I assume you're not going to cross-examine yourself, but does the board at this time have any questions of the staff? Commissioner Coleman, your hand is up.
Having a COVID moment, what, I forgot what the plan is for this.
No, oh, sorry.
Mr. Manager? Or-
There is no current plans to make any changes at the moment to Freddie Warmack that I'm aware of. Those will come through if there is going to be any changes. Right now, we're getting it more streamlined so that it's under public facilities.
Right.
For ease of making some of those changes.
It's currently under
coming.
what residential category?
Single-family
We just read it,
residential.
right?
Yep, single-family residential, RSF1.
Were we having to pay full boat taxes on it too, even, or would that be in city owned?
I'm not sure about the taxes. Dallas is shaking his head no.
We don't pay any property taxes, Commissioner. Even if they bill us, we don't pay.
I might have to call Ed Crapo.
Good luck with that. Commissioner Farnsworth or Commissioner Maison, any questions to staff on the rezoning? Seeing none. Right. And Madam Attorney, would you please advise the decision-making body of the applicable law and factual findings?
Yes, you all will need to find that it's consistent with the comprehensive plan in accordance with the land development regulations, and you should base that decision on the competent substantial evidence presented to you both here verbally and also the written materials in your backup.
All right. We've heard the presentation and we've heard the deliberation. Are we prepared to make a motion at this time?
Absolutely. Motion.
Commissioner Mazon with the motion. Is there a second?
Right.
Commissioner Coleman on the second. Seeing no other further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimous. Okay. All right, back to legislative. We got another second reading on ordinance 2603, CPA 2606, future land use for annexation number 40. Madam Attorney, please read the ordinance into the record.
Ordinance number 2026-03, petition CPA 26-6, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the future land use map in the comprehensive plan by changing the future land use category from Alachua County Rural/Agriculture to City of Newberry Agriculture on 4 parcels identified as tax parcel numbers 01765-001-000, 01770-000-000, 01772-000-000, and 01772-001-000, comprising a portion of annexation number 40 into the City of Newberry, Florida, providing for exclusion from codification, correction, and directions to the city manager, providing a severability clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing directions to the clerk and an effective date.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Always good when folks want to join their fair city. Ms. Yetter, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Lauren Yetter, Community Development. Just as a reminder, this is from Annexation 40, which was approved or adopted finally in January 12th, 2026. This is the second public reading of ordinance number 2026-03. After the first reading, staff transmitted to Florida Commerce, the state review agency, and for state review, because it is a large scale amendment, over 50 acres. So the review period has lapsed and there were no comments received. So the question under consideration is, should the commission approve amending the future land use map from Alachua County Rural Agriculture to City of Newberry Agriculture on the following annexed parcels?
All right, thank you, Ms. Yetter. I want to pause here for a second. What are the kinds of comments that we would ever even potentially get from the state on something like this? Do you know, or Ms. Hectus, do you know?
On
Doesn't seem like we ever get any. I'm just, for everybody's sort of reset.
In the past, when I've received comments on certain things, the state has a copy of our comprehensive plan up there, and they would say something to us along the lines of, are you really sure this does meet the intent of your comprehensive plan? This seems like a higher density than what would have been normally placed in that location. The transportation, so the comments that we have received from FDOT are, hey, we noticed you sent this up and this up and this up. You may want to be taking a global look at the transportation network, as we always are doing. But they're just reminding us that this is not just state roads, but county roads and city roads. Take a global look at it. So we do that a lot. Those are the comments that we get. We just never want to get an objection from them. And so they'll add comments like that, take a global look at things. But a lot of times we get the no comment anymore.
So when we hear in the public about planning, about why don't we build more roads, those sort of things, these are the interfaces that we have, not only with the county, but these are state level changes that we are making to get and make them aware of what's going on here so they can also put it in their little matrix of what they're going to be doing.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we have these things that happen at the county level. We have them at the state level. We're internally doing it at the city level. Fair? Right?
Right.
All right.
It's
so-
also outlined in Florida, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's already out, it's also outlined in Florida statute what each state review agency or water management district or regional planning council, what they are to review.
Right.
So there is a limited, purview of what each agency can review.
Okay, all right. Good to reset and reiterate some of that stuff. So we've heard the presentation. Is somebody prepared to make a motion at this time?
So moved. Second.
So we have Coleman and Maison changing from county ag to city ag. Any questions or comments from the dais to staff? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous on this as well. Back to quasi judicial on 2604, large-scale rezoning for that annexation number 40 that we just heard. So this is the companion. Madam Attorney, you want to read this one into the record?
Ordinance number 2026-04, petition number LDR 26-07, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the official zoning atlas in the land development regulations by changing the zoning district from Alachua County Planned Development to City of Newberry Agricultural on 4 parcels identified as tax parcel numbers 01765-001-000, 01770-000-000, 01772-000-000, and 01772-001-000, comprising a portion of annexation number 40, providing for exclusion from codification, correction, and directions to the city manager, providing a severability clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing directions to the clerk and an effective date.
Excellent. I'll go through ex parte disclosures on this one. I'll start here closest to me. Commissioner Maison? Commissioner Farnsworth? Commissioner Coleman? Seeing none, all right. Ms. Yetter, we'll turn back to you for the presentation from staff/applicant. Actually, we're not the applicant, excuse me. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as stated previously, this is the companion rezoning of the 4 parcels that were stated. This change is actually from Alachua County Planned Development. It was an expired PD to City of Newberry Agricultural. And again, the same question under consideration. Should the commission approve amending the zoning map from Alachua County Planned Development to City of Newberry Agricultural on those parcels? And so there was a staff review of the petition when it was a petition of LDR 2607. And then on February 2nd, there was a Planning and Zoning Board meeting, a regular meeting, with a unanimous 5-0 vote to approve the petition. And then first reading was March 23rd, where it was unanimous 5-0 to approve first reading. And this is, again, it was this annexed area. It's at the northwest part of the city. It's in a purple sort of square on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, you'll see a zoomed-in view of the parcels.
Okay. Great. Is that everything?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, just leave that recommendation up there. Is there any comment from the public? And we don't have the applicant here or anything, right? Okay.
No, sir.
No comment from the public? Seeing none? Okay. Cross-examination's not really an issue. Does anybody from the dais have any questions for staff on this one? Seeing none, Madam Attorney, could you advise the decision-making body of applicable law and factual findings?
Yes, Mayor. As a board, you must find that this is consistent with the comprehensive plan, that it's in accordance with the land development regulations, and you must base that decision on the competent substantial evidence presented to you tonight verbally, as well as the written material in your backup.
Fantastic. If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion at this time. Commissioner Farnsworth on the motion. Commissioner Maison on the second. Okay. And Madam Attorney, could you just advise the decision-making body of applicable law and factual findings as we entertain the application?
Yes, the competent substantial evidence standard.
Fantastic. Did I just do that already? Just testing you guys. That's all. If there's no further deliberations, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimous. All right, first reading ordinance 2623. Madam Attorney, could you read the ordinance into the record?
Yes, ordinance number 2026-23, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the text of the Code of Ordinances by creating a new article in Chapter 2, Administration, to govern the acquisition and disposition of real property by the city, providing for codification and correction, providing a severability clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing directions to the clerk and an effective date.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Mr. Marlowe, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and no worries, Mr. Mayor. It's been a long day. Started about 4:30 this morning with sinkholes, and we had, a little groundbreaking ceremony, so we're going to get through this. So one of the things that our amazing new in-house attorney has pointed out to us is that we do not have a codified, standardized way to deal with property in the city of Newberry. It's spread out in multiple places across our code. It's in different policies, but as all things, there should be a one-stop shop to know how do we get rid of property, how do we acquire property, somewhere that we can go look at, somewhere the residents go look at. So that's what we're going to bring in front of you tonight is a real property policy. I'm sure that every single one of you enjoyed the 4 pages of definitions as much as I did, because it was actually very, very helpful, right, to go through all of these different terms when it deals with property and how is that defined when it comes to property. So the question in front of you tonight is if we should have this policy or not. If the answer is yes, pass ordinance 2026-03. If the answer is no, say no, right? So what's in that? First, let's just define what is real property. Some of us spent our entire careers in property. Some of us did not, right? So land together with all building structure improvements affixed thereto and all rights and interests associated with that land. So easement, that's real property, right? We have rights to that property. It's the property, it's what's on the property, okay? So that's what we're talking about now. How are we gonna deal with real property? The ordinance is fairly straightforward, so I just pulled out some key points for your consideration tonight, right? Should we have a policy that consistently standardizes how we deal with property? Again, both the dispossession and the acquisition, right? And then should the administrator be directed to implement this policy, be vested with the authorities and responsibilities written into that procedure as you guys deem necessary for its implementation. So first, how do we get rid of property? How do we dispose of it? Getting rid of property begins and ends with you guys, right? It would come back to the commission. It doesn't matter if it's 5 feet of property that the railroad cut into 100 years ago and somehow the city ended up with a little bitty sliver of land and we're trying to give it away to a resident, right? Or whether it's a building, right, that we are trying to get rid of. It starts and it ends with you guys. Acquiring real property, if it's over 100,000, it comes back to you guys. If it's under $100,000, the city manager can use his spending authority. I want to make the point that this policy is a procedure policy. It's not a budget policy, right? So the commission has already in the purchasing policy granted the city manager the purchasing power up to $100,000, right? The commission did that because rising costs, there's just too many things. A vehicle now is $55,000, $60,000. Bringing every single thing back to the commission like that would be tough. Where you guys see that is in the budget, right? So it doesn't really matter if the city manager spending authority is 1,000 or 100,000. If you guys don't budget for it, there's no money in the budget to move forward with it, right? So this question is really how much bureaucracy, how much red tape do you want? I think CSX is a great example here. This commission said for 7 years, go get the rights to build a road from 15th to 26, right? We kind of gave up on that. CSX wasn't responsive. We were able finally to negotiate that. The cost was $100,000 to get that. And right now, our policy is any real property, no matter how big or small, has to come back to the commission. At this property, if that clause was in there, we could have sealed that deal and we could have wrapped it up as soon as we came to the agreement, right? I do think I would ask if this is the threshold the commission is interested in, if you want, and this just mirrors the purchasing policy. I think we got the Scrivener's error a little bit off in the ordinance. It should be from $0 to $100,000 city manager's authority, 100,000 or no, 100,001 or more comes back to the commission. I think it's reversed right now. So if CSX had come before us and it was 100,000, I would have had to come back here and said, guys, this is the property you asked me to get, but because it's right at $100,000, I think we can fix that, but before we come back on second reading, right? But that's the conversation that you guys need to have right now. So I think this is the main talking point in this policy is if it's disposing of property, it comes back to you guys, right? So if Commissioner Farnsworth says, I think we should sell the old light plant, not saying he's ever said that, right? That would come back to you guys. If there's 5 feet of dirt along a railroad track that we own because of something 100 years ago, that comes back to you, right? If it's acquiring property, you guys are going to have the conversation in the budget, right? We're going to set thresholds, we're going to have those conversations, but then if the negotiations end up in those thresholds, we can just do it, right? It is a procedural policy, not a budgetary policy. Questions?
We have any questions from the board? Mr. Farnsworth, are you reaching for the mic?
I am.
All right.
So when you say it's budgeted, is there like a certain amount that we put aside for land acquisition? Or are we talking about specific parcels that are in the budget?
We would be talking about specific things during the budget season, and we'd be saying, Commission, we want to acquire this. You guys would say, as you did 7 years ago, getting the road connection from 26th to 15th is our top priority. Actually, I think it was number 3, right? But it was one of the top 3 priorities, right? I think we budgeted that year. We may have actually held that rollover for the next year. And then when CSX was non-responsive, we sort of put it on pause, right? So during the budget season, if there was something that we were trying to acquire, let's say a commissioner wanted to add land to a park, right? We wanted to expand a park. We would say, okay, we want to expand this park. Mr. Manager, enter into negotiations. What do you think that would be? We'd put a placeholder in the budget, right? If the cost of that addition to the park was inside that placeholder, all well and good. If it was not, then we'd come back to the commission and say, well, we don't have the money this year. Do we want to wait for it? Is it important enough? We don't think we'll have the opportunity. We want to find somewhere else in the budget, but that would be the conversation that we would have.
All right, going back to the railroad property, like you said, we've been discussing it for 7 years, but we haven't specifically budgeted the money for 7 years for that. Am I right?
Correct.
So now it's available. So where would you get the money from without coming to the commission and asking them for the money?
Well, the way that we did it this time was we asked CXX to take a down payment and then take the rest of the money when we got into the next budget cycle.
Okay.
Yeah, just to be clear, Newberry doesn't have $100,000 just sitting there.
Yeah, I'm wondering
Right.
where all this
Exactly. So
extra money is coming from.
right.
I personally, I prefer to be more involved than just turning it all over to the manager, but that's me. I don't know.
To like what, the one? Up to 101? From 0 to 101,000?
Yeah, I think I'd rather it be brought before the commission, whatever kind of land acquisition we have to discuss it before we actually do the acquisition.
Commissioner Coleman, you have your hand up?
I do. With our current city manager, I would not have a problem. The problem I would have is if another city, hopefully that will never happen. Yeah. The problem is after the best city manager that we've ever had decides he's going to go and run for president. There's my problem.
Commissioner Coleman?
Yeah, I know it. Hang on. But no, that's where I sit at there. If as long as we could, where I guess maybe the sun sets as soon as the next city manager was to come in.
Yeah, nobody will remember that it's.
Give me an example. Just give me one that's like, man, this is why I missed out on this deal, right?
And that's, to me, this is not a really pertinent question, right? Because most real estate deals take a long time, right? And so I'm going to be talking with you guys as we're having those negotiations. Again, it's procedural. And again, the city manager already has the authority to spend $100,000 without coming to you guys. So this is not a budgetary question. The spending limit is there. The question is, does the commission, and really you're just talking about potentially 2 meetings, right? So it could be a month. I've never seen that slow us down, but again, the direction from the commission has been, we got some of this stuff, because today we had to buy an intersection, right? You're talking less than $15,000. That had to come in front of the commission, which it already did, right? So it really doesn't matter. It's about how long you want to spend on meetings. It's about how frequently you want these items to come back up here. If you're not comfortable with 100 for property, make it 50. I would say there should be some threshold so that you guys aren't dealing with these little pieces of ground that we're trying to get, right? But whatever that threshold that is comfortable with is perfectly fine with me. And if it's for real, right now, real property has to come back to you guys no matter what, even if it's given to us, right?
really?
So if the property is given to us by a different governing agents, let's say USDA, right? Just pulling that out as an example. If they wanted to give us property, you guys have to be involved in that. There's some benefit, pros and cons both ways. Like I said, I don't really have passionate feelings here because, again, to y'all's point, our relationship is we're having these conversations from beginning to end. Generally, these conversations are started up there, right? One of you guys says, hey, is there a way to add on to MLK, right? I was at that workshop. All the stuff they were talking about is great, but the park is too small. Can we add on to it? And then that's when that conversation, how it starts. So it doesn't really matter to me. This policy mirrors the purchasing policy. That's why we started with that, because the city manager already has the authority to spend $100,000.
Mr. Lee?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to give an example. The commission about 2 or 3 years ago gave us direction to proceed on getting land rights for Southwest 30th. Each of those parcels has had to come back to the commission multiple times for your approval, from $3,000 all the way to $30,000. The commission did budget a pot of money in the budget for us to go acquire those land rights, but without a policy, we are having to bring each of those back to you every single time. You did have to adopt a specific policy for that project, very similar to this. It actually, I believe, sparked this conversation. That's an example of where
That's a much better
the
example.
commission gave
If I
us
wasn't
direction.
working on a sinkhole at 4:30 in the morning, I would have thought of that example too. Yeah. So there you go. There you go. Succession planning. It works out. Well,
Dallas, as long as we have you on the microphone, if we had an opportunity to purchase a property that was outside the initial budgeted, we would handle that as a budget amendment?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so we're not handcuffed completely, we just, okay. Okay, do I have a motion on the floor yet?
Motion. Only codified, let's go.
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, so I have Commissioner Mazon on the motion and Commissioner Coleman on the second. Any other discussion from the dais? Any from the public? Seeing none, back to the dais. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. Motion passes 2-1.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to stand in for Assistant City Manager Jamie Jones and take.
In the
This
agenda item number 14, interlocal agreement with the county. Do we have something to read into the record for that? I don't think so. All right, I'll give the floor back to you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as you guys know from the joint meeting, from all the conversations and announcements, the county has agreed to jointly work to construct a roundabout at 235 in Newberry Lane. We were having an inordinate number of near fatal traffic accidents at that intersection. We reached out to the county. The county agreed to do a study. That study warranted action. It did not warrant action as high as a traffic light. It did warrant action as high as a roundabout, hence the roundabout. The county has offered to take the engineering, construction, and design in-house. That is saving significant amount of money. But the question that we're considering here tonight is, should the new city of Newberry execute an interlocal agreement with Alachua County for construction of the traffic roundabout at the intersection of Newberry Lane and 235. So most of you have seen the signs. The county is already on site staging areas, staging material there on Mama Hunt's property. We appreciate the Hunt's participation in this. We need a place to put all of it. We have been acquiring land at the intersections because this roundabout needs to be large enough to accommodate the mining trucks and the delivery trucks for Publix. It's the most frequent comment I get from residents. How are the trucks going to get through? We are aware that there's truck traffic on that road. I've lived here for almost 50 years. I've seen many of those trucks myself, and the engineers have answered that question by saying we need enough ground so that we can expand it. And that's what we have been doing. Our first closing was today. So if the answer is yes, the recommended motion is approve the interlocal agreement, authorize the mayor to execute the deeds to the county. So we're acquiring the property, but at every intersection, half of the property is the county's and half the property is City of Newberry. So if it's on Newberry Lane, that will be deeded to us. If it's on 235, that will be deeded to the county. We're keeping all of our receipts, they're keeping all of theirs, and when the project is done, we'll true up in the end for all of the expenses. So far, everyone is willing to donate the property to us. We did work out an agreement with the Hunts because they're gonna have their property disrupted for the next 3 to 4 months while we stage there. So there was monetary compensation for that. Number 3 is authorize city manager or his designee to take all other actions necessary to carry out the purposes and intent of the interlocal agreement. And if the answer is no, recommend a motion not authorizing. So there's a 3-part motion if your answer is yes. Okay. That is the end of my presentation, Mr. Mayor.
All right. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for debate.
I should say the budget is about 1.5 million. We had 200,000 in the budget this year, so we'll be budgeting for the remaining 550. That won't be quite the exact number because we've expended money to get the property, but that's roughly what we'll be in for. And we will budget for that in this budgetary year.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion for debate?
Motion.
Commissioner Mazon and Commissioner Farnsworth on the second. Is there any discussion from the dais?
Yes. So the county's already put signs up there. They're starting June the 1st.
County's been very considerate. They're trying to get this thing done during the summer so that it doesn't disrupt, because the detour is going to be significant for the school buses and the trucks. So they're trying to get the whole thing done when school is out, before school is started. So, and that was their idea. I didn't even have to mention that to them.
I got something.
So it kind of sounds like they've already got everything they need. They don't need anything from us, do they? They already got the signs up. They're starting June the 1st.
Commissioner Coleman?
Mr. Mayor, for all the naysayers, if they just can't figure out a roundabout, they could load up, little mini vacation, go to Savannah, Georgia. I was there 2 weeks ago, and there is more roundabouts there, I think, than anywhere else in America. And the traffic never slows down.
Yeah. Well, I know, is it Ramon Gravette at the county? Is that right?
It's Ramon, but his last name is Gavarati.
Gavarati. Oh, okay. I know that one of his main points was to keep the traffic flowing and not having it actually stop. I can tell you from a claims adjuster background, the opportunity for vehicles to hit at an oblique angle is much safer than having them hit at perpendicular angles. So there is actually a little bit of science in getting them to be, sideswiping, so to speak, if that happens. Heck, you can go over to near Tower Road. They got one over there. But we have a motion that's been moved and properly seconded from Commissioner Farnsworth and Commissioner Mazon. If there's no further discussion from the dais, is there anything from the public? Pastor Williams, come on down.
Just have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Who would be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of the roundabout? Because if it's held to the same high consistent standards that Alachua County is used to on 235, that's going to be a problem in the future.
I'm not sure it is a problem.
I'm just wondering, is there a way, if Alachua County is going to be in charge of the maintenance and the upkeep, is there something that can be written into the interlocal to hold their feet to the fire to make sure that it's done in a consistent and much better way than the rest of 235 is?
Understood. Mr. Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So the city will be responsible for the Newberry Lane portions. The county will be responsible for the 235 portions. I believe that the county's new model is putting more money into the existing infrastructure before it gets into the state that 337 and 235 are. That is actually a proven model, right? You spend much less money when you go in at the very beginning than when you let it get to the state that it's in now. So one of the reasons why the model is struggles for us to get attention to 235 or 337 is because they're diverting the dollars to the roads before they get into that state. So my anticipation would be that the same policy would apply to the roundabout as well. And I know that it would certainly apply for us.
Thank you. While it's not a perfect answer, it is the answer.
Or it's half and half. He's kind of answered it half and half.
Yeah, I think his point is, can we hold them to the fire on their side? But we will do our best. Any further public comment and questions? All right, I'll bring it back to the dais. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimous, 3-0. Do we just have one more item before comments? Okay, Champions Park South. Rod, as you're making your way up here, I dug down into my email and printed out a couple of discussions that I had with Paul Stressing. Paul was the engineer who built the Legacy Park building, and he offered to make these drawings for free. These drawings are just kind of conceptual things that I gave him that he put on paper. The first one is, and I'm sorry this wasn't in the backup, but the first one is the actual building itself of the courts. The biggest change to this in the Legacy Center was I asked him to put an outdoor stage on the backside of the building that theoretically, if positioned correctly, would actually face to the south. So that when we did have outdoor concerts, neither the audience or the performers were actually looking into the sun at any point.
Smart.
I think the property, I've got a little background in
Smart.
music and event stuff. So if you're looking at the paper, this if you turn the paper portrait, this is theoretically how it would sit on the property. So if you look at the other rendition here horizontally or landscape, that yellow or the orange building is actually this. So this is sort of a blow up, if you can see that and visualize that. And you can see on the bottom right corner would be a loading dock for performance rigs and buses and those sorts of things. There'd be a huge grass area to the south or to the left side of the picture for audience viewing. This would be big enough for regional level events for sure. And then the rest of the property is sort of, do we want to do multi-purpose or something else with the rest of the property? And it's about 40 acres. And I'm sorry, Ross, I didn't mean to take your whole thunder. We'll just go right to questions, I guess. But yeah, I was working with Paul on that for a while. So we're really kind of trying to provide direction to the staff for what are the companion elements on the property that you would like to see. So, Rod, I'll shut up and you can take the rest.
I mean, you did great.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the commission. By the way, Mr. Mayor, I didn't know you were.
This is what I gave them, by the way.
I have one right here.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
I didn't know you were a claims adjuster, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
15 years.
That's awesome. Okay, so just to reiterate some of the things that the mayor has already said, again, Rod Clark, Parks and Recreation Director for the record. I was recently before you requesting your approval to move forward on the development of Champions Park South, and I appreciate you granting that motion. This evening, I am seeking your feedback on the type of fields that you want to see. As Mr. Mayor mentioned, we know that we need a recreation facility. We know hopefully we can have some sort of nice playground or some sort of extended play area that connects both sides of the park. And we know that we need fields. And so that's the question tonight. What type of fields do we want to see? Which ones best meet the needs of this community? And we do have money in Wild Spaces to be able to move forward on this. So that's always question is, your feedback is welcome tonight. Just know that your feedback will be taken forward and helping us in the design phase of the project. So tonight I'll just submit to you three basic or primary options. Option number one, to build baseball fields that will cater to 14 and up baseball and adult softball. Option two would be to develop multi-purpose fields that would cater more to a number of sports like soccer, flag football, tackle football, kickball, something new that we're starting this year, but kickball, excuse me, lacrosse, field hockey, different running programs for youth. We also have adult grass volleyball tournaments that exist. We had one here just a year and a half ago. So all of those things that we will be able to do just on basic multi-purpose fields. And then option three is, for your consideration, is to do a mixture of the two, some sort of combination. So these are the options I would like for you to think about. And so again, staff is looking for your feedback that we can take forward to the design team. And of course, we can bring that information back to you so that you can, once we get those renderings, you can cast your vote and make that decision.
Rod, can you remember off the top of your head sort of the take rate on some of the current sports that we have going on around to help kind of guide the discussion a little bit?
Take rate, what do you mean by that?
How many
Sorry.
people we have participating in the various sports?
Oh, so starting with adult softball, typically we'll do adult softball in the winter and the summer. We kind of offset that with what Gainesville does. They'll do it in the other seasons. A lot of those folks, these are the same folks. They play year round. So they'll play there, they'll play here. Typically, we average about 7 teams for adult softball. This year, we do have, it's looking like we're going to have more teams, maybe about 10, 11. So appreciate what Charlotte's doing to help us with that. She's a new Gator great. Congratulations, Charlotte. So that's about what we get for adult softball. For baseball and t-ball and softball, that's one of our biggest programs. So we'll get 300 kids per season, and that's fall and spring. So we'll average somewhere around that there. So baseball, softball, t-ball, we get good numbers around that.
How many fields do we have that accommodate an adult softball league now?
We have two. We have 2 fields currently. Our fields 1 and 2 at Easton.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor,
Sir.
Yes, sir.
just to clarify, so the direction that Rod's been given is to view Champions Park as sports tourism, not necessarily community rec. So the numbers that he's talking about are right there are about youth recreation and a recreation program.
Okay.
That's correct.
What he's talking about with all-purpose or baseball, those would be how many fields do you need to attract national soccer tournaments, not necessarily
Okay.
youth rec. Just making sure that that's clear.
I think to answer that question, you at least need 4 to 6 fields for a small tournament. I would say 6 to 8 for a nice large tournament.
And Rod, can you give the commission I know you've been talking to other directors. So what are the numbers for soccer tournaments that are out of county folks coming in to play soccer? Is there a ceiling for soccer, or does that seem to be limitless?
I've talked to a couple of different directors. The success that they seem to be having is when they team up with other soccer organizations, travel organizations. So that's where they're seeing their success in terms of travel soccer.
What about lacrosse? Is there a national need for lacrosse, big lacrosse tournaments? We got a lacrosse coach sitting up here. So
But I think it's died.
I think it's
Yeah.
capped, but
Yeah, I
it's
don't,
there.
I
but
don't
it's-
see, yeah, we haven't had a lot of offerings for lacrosse.
What about flag football? There seems to be a national push for
For,
flag football.
for girls flag football.
Yeah.
So that
Could
one's,
be in the Olympics.
yes, that one is really growing. So I would say
That's an all-purpose field.
that's an all-purpose field. We want to be ready for that. And these discussions that I've been having, in my mind, these directors are looking out. They're looking 10 to 15 years out into the future to get ready for what's to come with these sports. Travel primarily, but mostly all of them do have mixed use. So they're doing the travel. But they're also doing recreational sports. I was talked to a gentleman from Orlando who runs the Boomer Complex. They do about a 65% travel, 35% recreational programming on their fields. And they currently have actually 19 fields, 15 at one complex, and they do an assortment of sports, from field hockey to lacrosse. So they have just about everything we just mentioned. They're running that. But of course, that's further south. That's in Orlando, and they're seeing great numbers with all the sports across the board.
I got you.
Yeah,
Question, your light's on?
yeah.
Did you mean to? Did you mean to hit it? Okay.
I thought that we were looking into like an indoor shooting facility and a trap shooting facility.
That's at a different location. So we're working with
Behind your house.
Florida Wildlife has been working with us, but that's never been for this. That's always been perceived in other locations.
Okay.
They need 20 plus acres. They have to have a north-south orientation, and they don't really like to be in the middle of a neighborhood and other rec. They like to be out a little bit.
Okay. That was the only question I had.
And I think the mayor hit on this point, and Rod did too. So, as you guys know, so for the public's edification, this commission budgeted about $6.5 million of Wild Spaces money. I think there were some other pots, but it's mainly Wild Spaces money to build the gym at Easton. What we discovered was we couldn't fit the size gym that we really wanted at Easton. So the first question was, do we want to build a smaller gym at Easton, or do we want to move it to Champion South and build the gym that we really need to attract? Because the gym will be basketball, volleyball, pickleball. There's other balls in there, but so it'll be those indoor sports. Now we have $4.5 million left in that pot because we budgeted $2 million to renovate Champions Park with. So the concept right now is, while we wait for the next round of Wild Spaces money to come, let's go ahead and make these types of decisions, plan what we want to do. We could go ahead and do the fields around it. We could get the gym designed, engineered, ready to go to bid, so that as soon as Alachua County votes yay or nay on Wild Spaces public places the next time, we would have the funding to go right to bid and say, we're ready to go. We're not going to spend the next 12 to 18 months doing this work, because we'll do all that work. And if we get other money, one of the developers that was on the docket tonight has pledged $3 million to the construction of the gym. So we may be able to construct this gym even before the Wild Spaces, but there's no reason in my mind to wait for this kind of conversation as we move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Well, to kind of zero in on the conversation, it was baseball fields, multipurpose fields, or try to mix the two.
Yes, sir.
I'm not hearing a real pitch for what I would think would have to take multiple baseball fields to really accommodate an adult league. I don't know.
Travel baseball, man. Yeah. You might want to hold off on that. That travel baseball, it's popping. I mean, like you said, travel baseball, they use other...
The youth is, in my opinion, the youth is, but not necessarily the adult baseball.
It's like a
Adult
14...
softball.
There's college, but I think the question that I would have because right now we cater to, how old are they when they start? All the way to 14.
Yep, 5,
So
14.
So you would be 15 to 18, right? So you're looking 3 years.
Okay.
But those are all kids playing at a high school already, most likely. And so I just think in terms of ages and flexibility, the all-purpose fields give you greater flexibility than the adult baseball. And I think it's why it's important to ask the question, if we're trying to attract tournaments and get out of county residents, because that's how we go to the county, and we continue to make the argument to the county for greater involvement in Champions Park because we can show out of county heads in beds, right? Driving those dollars. So if we need 6 to 8 all-purpose fields to attract those large tournaments and bring folks, I'm not sure that we can accomplish. I think we can get 4 all-purpose fields and maybe 1 or 2 quads, but then I don't know that we get any of the large tournaments. I think you get some small tournaments, and that's still good, right? But my idea is try to make sure there's something happening at Champions Park every weekend, whether it's youth baseball, soccer, volleyball in the gym, lacrosse out on the fields, softball at Champions Park, volleyball in the gym. But every weekend there's people in our restaurants, people at our gas stations, traffic. So I think that's what should drive this question is what is going to bring the most heads and beds from outside of the county?
Commissioner Coleman?
Is this going to be, this is what, like half the size of the one in Alachua?
No,
That building is actually, if you add on the exterior stage, it's basically the same plus the exterior stage.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's 4 indoor courts, and they have 4 indoor courts as well.
Well, do you get a lot of basketball tournaments, or are most of those in Gainesville?
Well, not even in Gainesville. We don't because we only have 1 gym. But as soon as we started talking about building a gym with a center with 4 courts, then people started wanting to have the conversation. So I don't doubt that we will get plenty of travel basketball because they're always looking for a place to play, especially a place that has 4 courts in one facility, not to mention Easton. So we'd have 5 courts, and that's a dream to,
Okay.
basketball.
And the other thing is do you gotta be like it's gonna be this, or can it be like Easton was in the past? I mean, you had 2 practice fields, but they still they still had football out there. Matter of fact, it got where we couldn't go to high school anymore. Now I'm talking years ago, but. So we had to play the games out there. I don't even know if the goalposts are still
They are still there. Yes,
Are they
sir.
really? I had never paid mind. But, I mean, why do we have to? Because pretty much soccer and football and lacrosse you can use the same fields. So my suggestion would be have those utility fields and how many baseball
There's 4 quads at existing Champions Park North, 16 fields.
See, yeah.
So if the idea was to build quads for older kids, then the fields would be bigger. So you wouldn't be able to fit 4 quads and the gym and all the parking.
Right.
If you went strictly 15, 16, 17-year-old baseball, I think you could get 3 quads in the gym.
Well,
Property.
It's
right
just
here.
the distance of the fence is the only difference between.
Are these considered multi-purpose here?
The ones
Yes.
on the
The
right-hand
the
side?
six.
Yes.
Yes, those are multi-purpose.
So
rectangles.
what all can you do on that? Soccer, I know is one.
Yes, sir. Yeah, soccer. You can do just about anything. Tackle football, flag football, soccer.
You could make the entire thing almost one giant multi-purpose field and cone it off however you want.
Right.
The only issue, if we got to that point, would be trying to lay it out in order to accommodate lighting to do evening. But otherwise, you could cone it up and cut it up chalk it however you want it.
Is this how you like it? Tell the truth. Come on.
The multi-purpose fields?
Yeah. Tell the truth.
It will give us the highest and best use, I think. The other thing that is worth considering is that some of the other large sport complexes, they are building the diamond fields and trying to do some use them as multi-use fields as well. So they'll draw the rectangular shaped multi-purpose
Kind of like
fields in
Savannah
the
Bananas
outfield.
in a
You know what I
football
mean? So
stadium.
yeah, so that's an option as well. So
Mr. Mayor, I will say that Assistant Manager Jamie Jones took one look at that and he said, well, you get a lot more fields if you turn the fields and you line them up end on end, and then there just be one long line. The lights go straight down, parents
Right.
are on each side, and I think he's probably right. I think you can get, if you went all-purpose fields, I think you could probably get 8 if you did that. The northern piece of Champions Park is the most sinkhole prone. So we want all-purpose field. We don't want to build anything on that. I think you could also do a cross-country track around all-purpose fields, kind of around the edge of it. And I think that there's a market for that as well.
That's what Monty used to do back in 34. When he
Mr.
graduated from
Farnsworth,
high
I know you've had your light on for a little bit.
Jordan, what is the estimated cost of the gymnasium?
I'm not an engineer and we haven't designed it yet, but I would venture to guess that we're looking at about 12 million
Okay.
for 100,000 square foot with the stage. I think one of the things that we would definitely want to do that is not available at Legacy is AV, right? So right now, and the mayor can speak to this better than I can, you rent the building,
You took the words out of my mouth.
pretty much get in the building.
Yeah. Commissioner Farnsworth, I know when I rent Legacy, the building itself costs me about, I think it's $4,500. The AV to bring it in is about another $5,500. And then to bring in the pipe and drape tables and chairs is another $5,000. So we would have something that could be marketable at probably 10 to 12,000 per event and provide all of that stuff.
How many events do they have there?
It's booked all the time.
So they're making
When it's not being used for athletics,
15,000 a week?
no, they're only making about 4,500 because they don't provide any of the other stuff. It just depends. It's rented when they're not having sports. When they got sports and stuff in there, they're not renting it. So they're not getting revenue or generating revenue necessarily from that. Because most of their sports, I may be wrong, but I think most of their sports are internal. So they're not going to rent to themselves. I don't know how many tournament rentals they do out there to run tournaments out there. But the design for the building contemplates storage for tables and chairs. The engineering, from the roofing standpoint, et cetera, would contemplate AV. And it would also contemplate expansion to the west down on this green space here, an additional 2 courts inside as well. So
And Mr. Mayor, is there 2 or 3 places in the county that's that size, roughly that size for rent? Limited market.
there may be 3. I can think of Legacy, and I can think of the county's building at Celebration at the moment, but I struggle to find another one. Quite honestly, there are not a lot of facilities that will accommodate 1,000 people at tables and chairs, for instance. There's some that'll accommodate 1,000 people, but it's just theater style seating. If we did theater style seating in something like this, it probably would go to 1,500, maybe even 2,000. I think if with the outdoor stage contemplated, you could do a regional concert there and probably have, I bet 5 to 6, 7, maybe even 8,000 people out there.
So,
And there's plenty of concerts that are going in and out of the state, up and down the state, that are big shows on the weekends. The Thursday night is a feasible slot, a Wednesday night, to get them when they're going into South Florida or coming out of South Florida on a Monday or a Tuesday. But there's plenty of big shows that would, I'm sure, be great for the weekend, even just one-off standalone stuff.
the field over at Freddie Warmack, is that not considered an adult field?
At Freddie Warmack, no. I mean, if adults were to play softball out there,
Yeah.
the balls would end up in the houses.
But I mean,
over there.
I've seen plenty of adult softball games being played there, so.
Let me tell you
If
something.
people-
Back in my day,
At the
we were
steroids?
playing with blue dot softballs, and you could you had to jack them to get them out of that park.
Yeah.
It was a lot different than softball
I
today.
don't know the footage on it, but
Commissioner Farnsworth, depending on the age of the people renting it, we like to tell them it's adults so they feel good.
I can,
Gauging the conversation, I'm hearing multi-purpose fields.
I'm not finished yet, Mr. Mayor.
Fair enough?
I can appreciate the manager's position as far as bringing more heads and beds around here, but I also think we need to take into consideration the citizens in this area that are paying the taxes. And I think if there's a need for adult baseball fields, I think that needs to be taken into consideration.
Mr. Mayor, I take that comment to heart because I think one of the things that we can accomplish, let's just say for a second that we do all-purpose fields. And just to reiterate, we're not making any decision tonight. Mr. Paul Stressing was very kind and did some pro bono work for us, but we want to get a little direction from you guys, and then we'll bring back some much more detailed, fit it in, see what can actually work there. But let's say we went with all-purpose fields out at Champions, right? And let's say we could get 6 or 7 out there. In my mind, that would mean, because it's just because the goal is for sports tourism doesn't mean that our community can't be out there as well, right? Champions Park, now that you guys are in charge, has lots of local folks out there during the week, right? But what it does do is, in my mind, it raises the question, well, how many all-purpose fields does Newberry need as a whole, right? So if we've got 6 out at Champions Park and we're using those during the week for Parks and Rec, and they're in sports tourism during the weekend, well, we can go back to Easton, which right now, one of the reasons why we had to move the gym is because Easton is getting so cramped. We can take the all-purpose fields and put those on the Swanee River water management land because we can't put anything impervious out there anyway. That opens up the 2 all-purpose fields that we have at Easton for other recreational activities because we can send our recreational programs down to Champions Park, right? So that allows us to expand Easton at the premier community recreational park in a way that right now we're limited because we just don't have the space. So I think that there's an opportunity to blend all of these desires together. We just need to know what direction are we headed, and then we can start addressing all the different concerns.
Did you want me to go back to Paul and ask him to get multi-purpose fields and see if he can squeeze in an adult baseball field also? Is that fair?
Rod, I think the question is, if this is local rec, we've got 2 adult baseball fields at Easton. What's the good of having another adult baseball field? We got 2 at Easton. Is Jimmy Durden adult baseball? That's youth too, right?
Youth.
That's youth.
No, we only have 2, and those are at Easton.
Yeah. How many adult baseball fields are
We
you
just
talking?
need to go to a 15-foot, 20-foot fence like the Green Monster. And then now it's adult.
Is the goal to serve the community down there with adult baseball, or is the goal to try to attract an adult baseball tournaments that come into the county? Which one are we?
Well, I mean, if you got adult baseball fields, it could be utilized for both, I would think.
In order to attract the big tournaments, though, you need a lot of fields, right?
And what do you call an adult?
Like you.
18.
Yeah, 15,
Nobody
18.
our age play.
Oh, there's plenty of people playing.
Really?
Yes.
And that's the comment that I was going to make. I got enough confidence as long as Rod's been here and been into this. What he thinks is the best, to be honest with you, is what I will go with. So
Well,
that's where I'm at.
I'm okay with that, but I think, I'm just saying that we need to try to accommodate the citizens in this area and not just try to pander to people coming in from out of the area.
So let's go back to Paul with a mix. Fair?
I'm with it.
Fair?
I just
right.
want to make sure the question is if it's a mix, because the first question is, what is the purpose of Champions Park South? Because if the purpose is community rec, that changes my answers to everything, right? If the purpose of Champions Park is still sports tourism, then I think it's the number of fields that you get, right, has to be part of the driving force. So maybe we need to have another night where we get all 5 and we revisit that question. Because my concern is if there's a mix of baseball and all-purpose, we're going to have a little bit of both, but not enough of either one to really attract the tournaments, right? I think that we just have to acknowledge it. If we want an adult baseball field for the community, I think the goal should be let's find another location to build, or let's go back to Easton and let's take some of those all-purpose fields and let's add 2 adult baseball fields there, because that's where we have 2 right now. That would give us 4 in one location.
Well, we ain't had a workshop in a while, so
Do we
why
have-
don't we do that?
Do we have room at Easton to expand the 2 youth baseball fields to adult?
We have room for one.
One.
It will, yeah, that one I'm speaking of borders the road, the inner road that goes around.
Yeah.
So we could potentially kind of expand there. The other one borders our playground, so we cannot. So,
Yeah, that would be fun.
But where the 2 all-purpose fields are, blank slate, right?
Right.
And I think we could probably do baseball in the on Swanee land too. We're not building anything there, so there's options to.
We
to
just wouldn't be
expand.
able to put lights there, right?
We can't put lights. We just can't put impervious substance, but we can do lights.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, can you have adult baseball down at,
All right, so
and then all the all-purpose fields down at Champions? Can that be
Right.
done?
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman, the last word?
My last word is, Rod, is this what you're wanting, or what do you want? What do you're in touch, you talk to these parents every day. I know you do. What do you want?
to be honest, I'm still undecided because after talking with a number of directors and sport complex folks, they're going both ways. It's kind of split. It depends on the trends of that area. And so right now I'm undecided, to be honest with you. I think I will need to go back and do a little bit more research and then come back to the commission and tell you.
You know, I mean, there's not a whole lot of, you're not putting a whole lot of money into these type fields, but if you come back and say, guys, Little League baseball's taking back off because of the Savannah Bananas, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, I was set on one particular option, but now I'm not so sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
At least you're decisive, Rod. All
Mr.
right.
Mayor, I do think it's worth just getting the answer to the question, is Champions Park supposed to be sports tourism or is it community rec? Because I think all of these are good options, but in my mind, I don't see how you beat all-purpose fields for flexibility of soccer one weekend, lacrosse one weekend, flag football one weekend. Adult baseball is only going to be adult baseball. So I don't know how many tournaments of adult baseball we can come in. If the purpose of Champions Park South is not to be community, is not to be sports tourism, it's supposed to be community, then yeah, add one or two fields of all different types down there. You'll never really bring a tournament in, but there'll be lots of opportunities for the community to be there. Really fine with either one. We were going down this path because the direction previous was Champions Park, remaining sports tourism, freeing up the space at Easton. So if that has changed at all, and I think that drives Rod's answer as well, right? If the answer is sports tourism, it's probably one answer. If we're questioning whether it's sports tourism, then you get a different answer.
All right. Show of hands for sports tourism. Thumbs up.
I'm for multi. I'm for multi. I'm for sport tourism.
That's not the question. That's not the question.
Everybody's decisive tonight.
Boy, oh boy. All right. Well, let's move on. We'll come back to this in either a workshop or another agenda item, so we're not belaboring this to death. So, no answer tonight, Rod. No answer tonight. Public comment. We still have a CRA meeting after this. Public comment from the citizens. Seeing none, City Manager. City.
Oh, we're still on that agenda item. I apologize.
No.
I do have one notice. The applications for Alachua County Transportation Disadvantage Coordinating Board membership are open. That you have to be an Alachua County resident. Application and additional information may be obtained by contacting Lynn Franson of the North Central Florida Regional Planning Council. We will post this on the city's website, but they are looking for applications right now. I'll give that to the clerk so you can make that. I did want to invite everybody tomorrow night. You can come watch the pitch competition for the Ag Tech. It's at the Municipal Building, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. There's a $3,000 grand prize winner. I think there's four folks in this contest, in this cohort, which are all going to be pitching their agricultural technology innovations. $3,000 goes to the winning. Think Shark Tank in your mind. I am pleased to announce it's not over yet, but we did make it so far through the state budget, our $250,000 allocation for appropriation for the fire training facility. I want to say thank you to Senator McLean and Representative Johnson for that. We still haven't survived the governor's veto pen yet, but we have survived this first phase. I just want to say thank you to everybody who came to the groundbreaking ceremony today. I want to say a special thanks to all of our staff that were out there at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Madam Clerk?
None for me, thank you.
Commission, starting with Mr. Coleman.
Well, right here, Jordan, this is why Mark didn't show up. You didn't have your flags out there. No, it was great today. From Miss Cam being there to, or our, what is she, our Congress lady, yeah. Yeah, all the, it's going to be impressive, I really think. I hope it just goes down that, and there was several local farmers, big farmers, that were there today. So it's piqued a lot of interest. And for Mark Clark, God bless our troops and God bless America.
Commissioner Farnsworth. Commissioner Mazon.
Yeah, man. Let's do this. First of all, movie night was a success over at MLK. We got about, 70, 75 people show up. It was great, man. It was, we're going to host another one coming up soon. And I'll keep you guys posted and let you guys know. Newberry Main Street Association, they have Splash Day. They have June 15th, July, write these dates down, June 15th, July 10th, and August 7th on Seaboard Drive downtown. That's right behind Capricious. Splash Days. Just look for the fire truck, and they're gonna have, they'll have amenities and a lot of things to enjoy yourself with. Bring your kids, bring yourself. Monty, bring your swimsuit and have a good time. I know how you like the water. Is your mic on? Thank God. Okay. All right. And then MLK on Mondays, they have senior adult bingo from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Heart and Soul Dance on Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And this summer, kids summer program and senior adult Tai Chi classes still coming soon, correct? All right. Now, I typically do like a joke or whatnot, but man, I'm going to bring to you guys something that if the commission doesn't know about, you should, and you will be able to share this. I wanted to share something I learned about a couple of weeks ago. One of our amazing city employees took it upon themselves to create a tool to keep our residents better informed on all the changes happening in the city of Newberry. Her name's Nikki Bailey. I went to her originally about a map that I wanted to be printed out, something I was looking for. And she took me to her office and she goes, I got a map, it's right here. And then she started showing me this program that she put together. Is that the map? Is that the program? Please come up, please come up. She showed me this map and pass it out. Yeah. Basically show them what you showed me when I came to your office just for a certain area of Newberry, and how great of a tool this is.
So I do not have control over the computer, but this
Hang
tool.
on. Yeah, you do.
This tool allows us to search up in the search bar in the top there.
You can search your address, or you can even select Find My Current Location. And you can even type in the name of a project. So let's say that you heard that there was a Wawa coming to town. You could type Wawa. Give it just a second. And then, oh yeah, under projects coming soon. And it takes you right to that Wawa. You can see where it is. And if you guys wouldn't, yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind left clicking that, please. So now we see that there's a site development plan. We see our initial approval date, how many acres. Obviously, there's no housing at the Wawa, but it is going to be 6,372 square feet of commercial. And so you get an update on that project. So this is residential developments. This is commercial projects that are coming through. You can get an update. I try to update this the next morning after we have a commission meeting. So like tomorrow morning, I'm going to look at my notes from tonight, all those second readings, and then go ahead and make my updates. The other nice thing over here on the left is we've got our historic
Hang on one
district.
second, Miss Nikki. Now you
I'm
got
sorry.
to pause on that because what she just said. You guys vote on it second reading on Monday night. This is Tuesday night. She's updating it the very next day. So this is as close to real time
As possible.
as you can actually get. I've presented this. I presented this at 3 different talks in the last 2 months since this launched, and realtors, everyone, developers, your questions.
I'm
That
glad.
comes
We've
up
even
as
got-
planning,
Yeah, you can get
planning projects dashboard in the App Store.
it-
Or am I just, did
Not
I
in the App
bookmap?
Store,
Yeah, I just bookmarked the website.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go to our website, click on it.
So you can get to it straight from the Newberry website. You can send an email to the Community Development Department. And then we also have a short link, and I've got some pamphlets over there. But the font is a little bit funky to read. So it is a 0, and the last digit's a 1 if you pick up a pamphlet. But the QR code does work. We also have the zoning. So if you needed to see the zoning on something, you can actually turn on the zoning layer and then left click, and it'll take you, there's a link right to our code so you can know what's allowed, like left click into one of the, like in the purple. And let's see, oh, so there's some arrows on the bottom there. You can actually see, it's gonna show you the Highland Park development. You'll see the information about the parcel, and then next. And then we see it's planned development zoning, so you can actually go straight to our code and learn more about that. You don't want to click it right now because then you're going to be all in Municode, but it'll take you right to our code section. You can read what's permitted in that zoning district, which is always nice to have. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. Mayor, this is one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why Ms. Nikki is Employee of the Year this year in the city of Newberry.
Yeah.
Is for this level of professionalism and work that she produces. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
And you also may notice that you have the CRA. You can go to the CRA, urban service area. You can see all that information. Just in case you want to know where the city limits of Newberry, she added that on there as well.
Yeah, there's
And
all
so-
kinds of good information up there. I've even got some citizen or census information and CRA. That's good for like knowing what grants you might be eligible for. So lots of good information there.
So, me personally, I am advocating that she gets a innovation coin because this is game changer, man. You go to any other city around you and see if they have this at your fingertips.
True, very
This
true.
is I
Good
dude,
stuff.
I was excited about it, and every citizen that I've ever showed this to is like, what?
It was just an idea that I thought would be nice for us to have because people would ask for PDF copies, but as soon as you print it off, 2 weeks later, commission's met and it's wrong. So I
Nikki
wanted
Bailey.
something that you guys could get right away, and so I came up with this idea.
So I think it's great. Good job, Nikki Bailey. Good job to you. I think it's great.
How do
Still
I
on the
get-
floor.
how
One
do I
last
get
thing,
a
Mr. Mayor, on that.
innovation coin?
Well, you'll get one eventually. You just got to innovate something.
It's
Yeah.
innovation there.
You got a lacrosse team at Newberry High School. That was very innovative. Good job. Right. We didn't have coins back then, so.
Should have got one.
And
from
you're
high
not
school.
eligible as a commissioner. It's just for employees. I'm sorry. Yeah. We'll get, but I do want to say, there have been a lot of nice compliments thrown out here, and I appreciate the commissioner recognizing Nikki. But truly, that kind of work, it does start up here, guys. You said we need to take Newberry into the 21st century. Nikki is helping us get Newberry into the 21st century. Head and shoulders. It starts here saying this is the kind of quality service that we want. So thank you guys for believing in this vision of where we can take Newberry.
You got anything else? Okay. Have we met since the Watermelon Festival? Great job on the Watermelon Festival. I appreciate everybody who showed up, everybody that supported in one way or the other. It's the 81st year that we have done this, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I know everybody that's coming out there has got smiles from ear to ear.
Who won that watermelon eating contest?
Watermelon eating
Yeah,
contest?
who won that? Were you? I heard you participated in that.
I don't know.
Who won that?
I don't know. Who won the seed spitting contest?
I don't know. I just, I'm more
We'll have
interested in
to-
who won that
we'll have to-
watermelon eating contest.
Well, we'll have to check the tape and get back to everybody
Mr. Mayor?
on that. Yes, sir.
I want to also, I don't understand why, I won that watermelon seed spitting contest 2 years in a row and I wasn't recognized as, at the,
Sometimes you got to sell yourself around here, just like he's trying to do right now with the watermelon eating contest.
see, now I got
No, I was just trying
COVID.
to find out who won it. That's
Oh,
it. Who
yeah.
won it?
Okay.
Don't break your arm patting yourself on the back here,
I
boss.
want you to taste the words coming out your mouth.
With that, this meeting will be adjourned and we will reconvene in 5 minutes for our CRA agency board meeting. We are adjourned.